We can either jump straight into a project if you felt like you were ready for it, or I offer a clarity session, which is essentially if you've got, you have a lot of ideas, just don't know where to start.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll sit down and help kind of like, let's figure this out.
Steve Sherlock here for Franklin Matters, Franklin Public Radio, available anywhere, anytime on the internet. Yes, in your browser, WFPR.FM, or in the local Franklin, Mass. FM radio dial. Yeah, the dial and the knobs, maybe the push buttons. You can preset it to 102.9. That's the number, and it's always going to be ready for you. Here in our glorious studio today with Lauren Mottley. Lauren, welcome.
Hi, thank you. Good
this
to be here.
This is going to be fun.
Yeah, I just need to get my nerves down.
There's no trick questions. You've got a story, and now you're starting a business. So let's, for the listeners, what's kind of like your Franklin story? And then they'll get to know you.
My Franklin story. Yeah, so I actually did not grow up in Massachusetts.
That's okay.
I grew up in Fairfax.
We don't hold it against anybody.
Thank you.
I didn't grow up here either.
Okay, but I've been here long enough to call it home.
Yes.
I've been in Massachusetts for 18 years.
Okay.
But I did grow up in Fairfax, just outside of D.C.
Okay.
And I found myself up here. I've been in Natick, I've been in Canton, I've been in Brookline. I've been around. I landed in Franklin about 5 years ago.
Okay.
My son and I lived together. We came here, and a cute story about how we got acclimated to the town.
Oh, yes.
Was the little rock garden in front of Rockland Trust Bank.
Yes, the kindness rocks.
The kindness rocks, exactly. So my son and I started walking to that, and that was both a way for us to get... It was our contribution to the town, if you will, because we would paint rocks and we would leave them.
And then donate.
And then I would also teach him how we give and take. We don't just take.
True.
And so even though we have an entire windowsill full of rocks at home, we have contributed quite a few.
Yes.
Maybe more me than him.
Well, you know.
But that was how we got kind of incorporated. It was a big thing for us. We felt part of Franklin, even though it was a tiny little...
That is a cool story because,
piece,
having walked by that rock bed arena, sometimes there's lots of rocks, sometimes there's not so many.
I know.
It varies, which is all well and good. You know?
I've been feeling the need to contribute again, so I got to get although I'm trying to run a business too, so this has been a lot.
we'll get to that point too, yes.
Yeah, so that's how we kind of got started. My son was going to the Franklin schools. He's now in a therapeutic school. Okay. But for all intents and purposes, we are part of the community.
Yes.
And Birchwood has become a second home / office for me.
A go-to place. Yes.
Yeah. And I've been able to meet a lot of people there, and I would honestly say that is probably what spearheaded my actual ability to build community here.
Okay,
was being there, because it took a few years. I don't have to go into the details, but my child does have special needs, and so I'm in kid jail a lot.
Okay, right. Family comes
single
first.
Single parent.
Family comes first.
We
not a problem with
that. Get to go out and do all of the things that most people probably get to do, and that's okay. But it made it harder for me to get really out there, and so it took probably 3 years. For me to get there. But now, again, shout out to Birchwood. Like, that place has just been awesome in allowing me to connect with other people. And I became part of the Franklin Area Moms Group.
Yes.
Did serve as a board member for a year. And that helped with community too. And now
a lot of connections from
I
that
feel
too.
more home here.
Sure. Yeah.
And then the business has been able to help me do that even more, which has been nice.
Well,
but that's the story.
That's the short story.
Yeah, the short story. There's a whole other side of that, for sure. Yeah.
But now the business, Brightlight Business.
Yeah, Brightlight Business Co. So, a little bit about the name, I guess. I've never really said this to anybody.
Well, and this is why we do this, because this will be helpful for you. Instead of saying something 49 times, you can say, oh, I talked about that with Steve. Yes. Go listen.
The name of it came from just a lot of the, I guess this feels weird to say, but feedback I've gotten from people and talking to them, and they're like, "You're like a bright light. You're like a, light. You're like a firecracker or whatever." I'm like, okay. So it kind of bouncing ideas off of a career coach, and we kind of came up with that. But that's where that came from.
Works.
Yeah. I didn't want it to feel too serious.
Right.
But I didn't want it to be my name either.
A little bit of fun stuff in there.
Yeah, so I can kind of pull myself away from the business if I need to, because it's not like my name. Well,
if you grow it then enough, you can just sell it and somebody else can have it. And
you can
go off and do it. Well,
I love it. I'm not there yet, but yes. Okay.
Well, I understand that, but you want to get there at some point.
Absolutely. That would be fantastic.
I mean, that's kind of like the business cycle.
Yeah, absolutely. Exit strategy.
Yes.
But yeah, I was in corporate for 20 years. Mm-hmm. I cut my teeth in, well, it wasn't called analytics at the time, but in data.
Data, yes.
All things data.
In the days when the data was a little bit harder to deal with, I would think.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I go back a little bit further than that, and there were some tough times trying to get data out from something into something, and before Excel had a pivot table.
Talked to a lot of IT teams. How do we get the back of the back of the back? Like that, just give me the raw table.
Yes.
I'll figure it out, yeah. So I cut my teeth in databases, analyzing data, running tests against data. I did a lot of audit support for a management consulting firm. I worked for PwC for a while.
Sure.
And that started, and then I went into industry. I worked for Constant Contact, where analytics was now a buzzword. And so I've done a lot of analytics over my career. Both, I'll save the whole the whole long story. But I've been in management consulting. I've been in software as a service technology sector, doing a lot of data and analysis. But over time, it's morphed for me personally. It went from being very much like in the weeds, digging the data, developing database, to visually storytelling with data. Mm-hmm. So how do I get you to understand what you're looking at, why it matters, and what to do about it?
Absolutely.
And in a really fast amount of time.
Yes.
Because I don't want you to feel like you're asking so many questions that I basically have to walk you through everything. Like, this just needs to be inherently easy.
Insightful.
Yeah, absolutely. So and along the way, I've played some, worn some other hats. Operations came along the side of that.
I was going to say, because usually data, especially for me, data is data, but you need to know the context, i.e. the operation from where it comes from, because otherwise you can go off the wrong path.
Yeah, and so there's and then so there's the insights that you get from data, but there's also the automation that being able to get that data provides you too, which is kind of efficiencies, effectiveness, et cetera, right? So I've always kind of said I majored in analytics, but I minored in ops. Because it was all about process improvement, efficiency, et cetera, with the use of data.
Sure.
I've been a product manager. I've been kind of done CXO roles, transformation.
CXO, for those who may not be familiar with some of the acronyms.
Customer transformation.
Right.
Not necessarily like in the C-suite, for those who are kind of keeping track here, but more just helping a company with their customer transformation journey within the company and how they portray that out to their clients.
Especially with Constant Contact, from a male lead, how do they flow through the funnel or the pipeline to become a sale?
Yes, yeah. And then the startup that I was working with more recently was how do we take just what we're trying to do for our customers with the product and how do we make, because it was very white glove.
Okay.
So less consumer based, the way Constant Contact was is more B2B.
Right.
And how do we do it that way in that regard? It's, I was all in. So all in corporate, hard, stressful, especially being a single parent. Owning a business was not on my mind.
It wasn't on your...
No.
You never had that on a bingo card.
Which is wild because, and I'll come back to this, my mom was a small business owner.
Oh.
My dad was a franchise owner.
Okay.
Or
So
he's a
you at
franchisee.
least were exposed to it.
Very exposed. But for me, no way.
You saw the side that you didn't want participating.
I guess. I don't think I gave myself the option to think about it. I just said,
Right.
you know what? Business, corporate, safe, let's go.
Right.
I've always been very risk averse when it comes to my career. And I've taken risks, but they never felt like that risky.
Right.
Like business ownership to me felt way too risky. I couldn't handle it.
Right.
Told myself I couldn't sell. Told myself I couldn't.
The safety nets are not necessarily there in the structure that the corporate environment, at least. I mean, you can still take risks in the corporate environment and then, manage.
But they were tiny risks.
Relatively speaking, yes.
For me, from a financial standpoint at the time, yes. And then my company got bought. I actually did go through 4 years of making it through layoffs with my company. We got bought.
Okay.
And then the parent company laid off 10% off the top, and I got caught in it.
Yeah.
And that was last May.
Yeah.
And so I'm like freaking out, obviously.
Now what do I do?
Yeah, and I'm like, I got to get back. Like, I am a single income. Like, I need my money coming back.
Sure.
But I also have been watching the tech industry not doing so well, not recovering.
No.
2 years and running at the time, right?
Yep.
And so I hired a career coach, bid it, and was working really hard for months to just try and get everything just as strong as it could be. All the pieces, LinkedIn, the resume.
Define your own process,
Yeah,
your
and
own onboarding
also
and
find
pathways.
a way, and also find a way to make this maybe 10% better than it was. My therapist likes to frequently remind me that you've been saying you can't do this anymore, and I'm like, right, but like this is what I'm in, so I got to make it work.
I got to do it.
Well, the universe handed me what I kept complaining about, just not the way I was anticipating it to happen.
They gave you some lemons, and you're about to make lemonade.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get back into corporate, thinking financial stability is my number one thing, and my kid's having a hard time over the summer. And all of a sudden, I'm like, well, I'll just be really honest with everybody. I had a panic attack. I freaked out.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, financial stability is not my priority. Flexibility is. And I can't get that in corporate
At this
right
stage
now.
of life,
No.
that makes a whole lot of sense.
And the flexibility I had took 8 years to get.
You got to kind of pay your dues.
Yeah.
And, you don't have enough time to pay those in this role.
No, I do not. And I just kind of thought,
It's not a laughing matter. I'm sorry.
No. Hey, you have to laugh or we cry, and I'm not doing that on air. So, I cry enough at home. It's fine.
No.
So I was like, well, I mean, I've been building websites for small businesses as a side gig since I was 18.
Okay.
I like to do that.
Sure.
Being in the analytics role I've had, even though that was corporate, I've learned how all industries work and how every part of a business works.
Right.
Because I would serve, the different aspects of marketing, finance, partnerships, product, you name it, HR.
Yep.
I've touched them all. And then I watched my mom. I have been my mom's bookkeeper. I've been her accountant. I redid her chart of accounts. I've done her taxes for the business. I helped her sell the business after 35 years.
Okay.
So I played attorney. Wasn't the actual attorney signing off, so don't worry, I didn't do anything illegal. But I helped, right?
You guided the process.
Created the manuals for the front desk. I've run the front desk. I've closed the cash drawer. I've painted baseboards. I have watched her not take paychecks. I've watched her put her soul into this.
True.
And I took what I was doing for web design for small businesses and said, I could do a lot more. I know there's so many hats they wear. So many. I watched my mom do this.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
And I may not be, I'm not a lawyer. I don't do web design, like a full-time web designer does. I'm not an accountant. I'm not like an expert in all these other things, but I know enough to get someone off the ground and moving.
Correct.
And get them the direction and clarity they need to not feel stuck, or to just feel like, oh, there's some clarity. I can breathe now. I can focus on why I got into this business.
Yes.
And that's where Brightlight and the idea of that was pulling all of these little things that I know and I've done, yes, at a corporate level, but also watched my mom do as a kid.
Sure.
And done for her.
Yep.
and thought, well, wow, how could I help people? And that's where Brightlight comes in, and that's what I want to do.
That makes sense.
So a little daunting. Explaining what I do is really hard sometimes. They're like, what do you do? I'm like, a lot. I do a lot.
As in much of my corporate life, I was a project manager, and of course, projects change from project to project. So trying to explain to my kids what a project manager was, they was like, well, that's different from what you said last time. I said, well, yeah.
Right. Okay, so you totally get it. Yes.
I totally get that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I've been trying to, pitch it, and that, you could call it consulting, but I think I'm more than that. I really want to help that business owner understand how they tick and what their pain points are, and meet them where they're at.
Sure.
Not only strategize with you, but help you execute it too.
Right. Because that's one thing I think you're probably trying to hit that spot, to the extent that a lot of entrepreneurs, and certainly it's been written around by many other folks, I'm just kind of rephrasing it, but they have that drive, they have that purpose to do this, and they may get it off the ground, but then they may not have the rest of the skill set to do the execution for the ongoing process. And it sounds like you're at least helping them understand where they are and then where they need to go.
Yep.
And if they need to make some decisions, well, at least they know that's the need, and that may alleviate part of the headache.
Yeah.
Because if they haven't thought of that, well, why not?
Right. Well, and the other thing, I come at it different angles. It kind of depends on my mood, I guess.
Well, it depends on what that circumstance is, too,
that too.
Right?
Yeah. I've definitely I still do the web design.
Sure.
But, and I don't want to shortcut myself here, but, I could take you from, A to M. Say, if you have a website and you need something that represents what you deliver. How often do you see the online presence doesn't match what is actually being delivered from that company? Yeah. So create the web design, get you some basic SEO. When you're ready to take it to the next level and really want to push the SEO, I want to pass you off to the person who does that for full time.
They can kick the notch up.
And they can kick it up for you, right? Sure. But you at least got that.
The basics.
The basics, which are going to get you off the ground in a really good spot. And I can do that in a
point,
lot
I think
of
it's
areas.
More basics plus.
Yes, it's basics plus. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you. I'm downplaying myself. I shouldn't.
Oh, no. That's why we have these conversations.
Yeah. But it runs the gamut, right? It could be design, it could be marketing related, but it could be tool integration. Are your tools working efficiently for you and not against you?
Well, and what are you measuring? Is that the right things to measure in order to know where you are on the path? Because I've seen people measure that because it was good, but that was the wrong thing to measure. so funny little story. Aside.
In my true analytics corporate days, it was a running joke with me and a lot of my teammates wherever I was working who were in the analytics group was, someone would ask you for this, and 9 times out of 10, that is not what they were looking for. Becoming the person who's able to kind of peel back the onion, if you will, and kind of be like, well, what are you actually trying to do? Right. Let's not dictate what data points you want to see. What are you trying to do? And I take that with my work with the company is what's... Don't tell me. I'm going to ask you for a solution. You don't need to know a solution. What's happening? What is not working? What do you think it should look like? And I no judgment. You don't need to know the perfect terms. Just tell me where you're struggling, and then I can see where. We'll peel back the onion, ask questions, right? And then kind of see if I can be a fit. And if I am, then we'll figure out a path forward, whether that's just getting clarity on what to do next or executing those steps with or for you. Right. So,
Or refining the process somewhere along the way in order to make it work better and capture the right data.
Yeah, a lot of the true ops stuff that I did in corporate was... the last company I was at was very academic, and so they were very good at identifying what they wanted to do, but the execution piece was often a problem.
Sure.
And that's not unique to them, right? But I I was one of the few people in the company who was able to say, like, well, are we asking the right questions?
Yeah.
Are we answering the right questions? Are we making the right decisions? How are we making decisions?
Sure.
And yes, I know you want, X, Y, Z, but it's not as easy as I want X, Y, Z and then you stop. Like, how are we getting there?
Yeah.
What does that look like? Yeah. How do we understand we got there? What does measurement look like, right? So there's like all those things. So I take a lot of that corporate concept, if you will, and bring it down to the ground.
To the individual level, depending upon what that individual is, where they are, where they're at.
Yeah.
So it's akin to in my terms, as it was kind of making sense of what you're saying, you're kind of like a business doctor.
Oh, I like that.
A patient comes in and says, "Hey, Lauren, I'm doing this. I want to get there, but I'm not sure how to get there." And then you go through the question process to kind of get an understanding, okay, what is their operation? What are they doing? How are they doing it? What are their customers? Where are they?
Yeah, prioritizing it too. What's the bigger pain point for you?
Right, because in order to get there may be 49 steps, but if they don't do this, then the other step's not going to matter.
Correct.
Right, because you need a baseline, you need a foundation, and if the foundation is weak, then you're not going to go anywhere.
Exactly. Yep.
Because I remember a quote, and you may have come across it too, but I think it was Stanley Marcus, who was part of Neiman Marcus, effectively said, you take care of the customer, and they'll come back, and you take care of the product, and it won't come back.
Yeah.
And if it's simple as that is, that's hard.
It is hard. It's very hard.
And that covers the spectrum of, how do you do the product? Quality control, metrics, sale, customer need. Because if you're building the great product, but they don't want it, then whoops.
Right. It won't resonate. And who cares? And then who cares?
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. Which is why I'm really big on making sure that that's why I say, like, understanding how that person ticks, because I can give you a great strategy or our roadmap, and if it doesn't work for you and you can't sustain it, who cares?
Right.
And then that's not helpful.
No.
So it's pretty curated, throw a buzzword out there. It's a very curated approach, but I just feel like that's what's needed.
Yeah.
Sometimes more of that corporate enterprise level stuff doesn't work. It's kind of like a web template, right? You create this template because it's supposed to work for everybody and anybody, but at the end of the day, you're not getting exactly what you wanted.
Right. Right.
And I want to give you exactly what you want and need.
And the piece that I haven't heard you phrase yet, but I'm sure you're aware, because if they're not willing to do that, that's a problem. You can put together whatever. Yeah. But if they're not willing to say, oh, this leads me to the bright light, this can help me get there, the rest of the work that they have to do is not going to get done. No. It has to work with their ecosystem. Right. And that could be their tools, how they think, what they're motivated or not motivated to do. There's a lot of things. Right. A lot of execution. Devil's in the details for sure. Yeah. And that's kind of where I like to take that, I'm kind of like that player coach. I don't know if you've heard that term before, right? Like that was another concept that I was coming up with for sure. Yeah, it's a lot of what I did in my corporate days was, I could strategize and look holistically, but I could also get in the weeds. And, I'm good at it, and I want to give that back, if you will, let me help you, because I can balance both, and not everybody can. And when you're running a business, you didn't get into it to do your accounting and all this. It had to come, but that's, I want to help people be able to focus on the passion part, if you will. I mean, yes, we know you have to do all other things, but if you can get someone to help come in and do it, why not? Sure. And generally it's at the right time, depending upon where they're going, because, and that the hard truth is that sometimes they're so into it, so passionate, they are doing so much that in order to get to that next level, they don't realize that next level. That's when they really need to bring in the additional help in order to go there, because then you got a bandwidth piece or whatever.
Do that. I do that, right?
How do you get out of the weeds in order to take that next step?
And get that objective view, if you will. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it's only been 7 or 8 months, and so it's slow, but it was definitely giving me the flexibility I need for my kid.
Sure.
And I'm liking it because it's actually leveraging for the first time in my life, which is fun.
All of you?
All of me. So I'm very right brain and left brain. I'm both. And this gets to do all of that together, which has been kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, that's the rewarding part. Absolutely.
Because my whole career has been very logical, analytics, numbers. Sure. I mean, I brought the creativity with some of the visualization, but at the end of the day, it was corporate. And then, I'm very creative. I'll give you. I'm not that I'm. I know we're talking about Brightlight, but I do the monsters that are little drawings of monsters that are at Birchwood on the cards.
Oh, those.
Those are mine.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my right brain. And this company allows me to kind of pull it all together. Great. I'm not drawing for any clients, and please don't ask me to, because it won't go well.
It may not be a perfect fit for them. You could say it that way, and then leverage your connections to bring in the right person who is a better fit for them.
Yeah. But I get to be creative in a different way.
Absolutely.
But I get to be analytical and creative in everything I do with Brightlight, and that's been really cool.
Correct.
So so the monsters are slowing down, but that's okay.
That's okay. We all need some sort of outlet to,
it was my therapeutic
manage.
Accident is what I call it. So. The therapist was like, go get creative, please. I'm like, okay. And I just started drawing these things. The next thing you know.
Right.
But being able to do web designs and logos, but then it's helping somebody.
Sure.
It's been so rewarding. And even just helping, when people are like, wow, I didn't know that was possible. It's so fulfilling to me.
Just opening their eyes.
I feel like this, Jack or Jill of all trades, and it feels kind of hodgepodgey to me, but I do believe that I can use that to help others, and it's just trying to convey the message. So thank you for having me here, because I think this will help.
Thank you for sharing, because this part of the fun for me too. Clearly, this is a community service. You're in the community. You're trying to make your way. Part of our charter is to amplify the public good. You want to do something very similar to that.
I do. Yeah, I do.
So it's a perfect setup for this. And, oh, by the way, I'm having fun.
Oh, good.
And what's wrong with that?
Nothing.
There's some tech stuff to do, but that's, that's the little stuff,
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know. I watched my mom go through this. And like I said, I didn't owning this business was not part of my dream or goals or wants, not even a little, but when I think about what I could do and how I help my mom, and I want to do that for others. And what's been really cool about it too, when we were talking about community earlier, is it's strengthened my community here.
Yes.
Which has been really nice, because it's single parent, special needs kid is really isolating.
Sure.
And so being able to meet others and see the other things they do. This weekend, I met a few different ladies who all have their business and then their other thing, and I'm air quoting for those, right? And it's just cool. I've been able to meet such fascinating people.
There are. This community is amazing.
Yeah.
And I've met and had the opportunity to talk with authors, artists, business people like you and others, and it's just, I'm fascinated by it. So
people are fascinating.
Oh, they are. Everybody's got their own story, and it's a story well worth sharing, because, oh, by the way, you did that? Really?
Right. I know.
There's an internet buddy of mine who unfortunately has passed, but her line was, "You're only a stranger until we start talking."
Interesting.
Because once we start talking, it's like, oh, you did that? Oh, I went there. We did this. And then the connections just multiply.
Right. It's cool. It's very cool.
It is.
I like that. You're only a stranger until we start talking. I like that. That's really neat. Yeah. Yeah. So that's that's Brightlight. And I'm hoping to keep it going, obviously.
We're hoping this will help.
Yes, yeah. But yeah, I'm just looking for folks who I can help out. And if I can save you time and save you money or headaches.
Right. So having dabbled into your website, I think you've got your process outlined kind of in a high level.
Yeah.
People can very quickly say, oh, yeah, I think I should talk with Lauren. And then you've got to contact, reach out.
Yep.
You do that kind of initial...
Yeah, there's initial kind of discovery. Just we talk. And you'll fill out a questionnaire when you usually set up time with me initially, and that asks a lot of questions that help me guide that conversation.
Some of the data upon which to build the story or potential
so I can
stories.
Build upon that, and we, and then if it's something I can help with, and it may not be, and I'm very honest about that. I'm not going to try and put myself where I don't belong. And we can talk logistics if it's not a fit for you for whatever reason. So be it. Yeah. No pressure from me. When you're ready, you're ready. And we can either jump straight into a project if you felt like you were ready for it, or I offer a clarity session, which is essentially if you've got, you have a lot of ideas, just don't know where to start.
Okay. Yep.
I'll sit down and help kind of like, let's figure this out, right?
Okay.
Let's get some clarity around. Let's get you a roadmap of what do you want to focus on, and help you build the next steps to do that. And that's a paid session, about 60 to 75 minutes, and you walk away with a roadmap of what to do.
Sure.
You can either DIY that or hire me to help you.
Bring you back in.
Or bring me back in. But again, no pressure. But at least you're getting something. Yeah. Because I think a lot of times, a lot of the business owners I meet, they're capable. They're very capable.
Sure.
They just don't have the time or don't want to spend the time. Both are equally fine. Don't have the skill, don't want to learn a skill. Both equally fine, right?
Or have the money.
Yeah.
Which is one of those tight spots, too.
They're not lacking ideas.
No.
And they're not lacking capability. It's just where to put that time and energy. And, it's a trade-off.
It is.
But if you could, have someone kind of sit down and help you sort through the weeds, if you will, and get some clarity out of it, then you feel more confident to go ahead and you're not swirling and spinning. Even if you do decide to do it by yourself, there's some clarity there and confidence, which I think is big.
Confidence to be built
yeah.
is a great thing to happen. And going back to that, even a coach, an athlete, you know, somebody comes to me, and I was a coach for high school for a number of years and still coached a little bit after. But yeah, somebody wanted to do like X time in the mile. And it's like, well, this is what you're doing today. In order to do that, you got to do the work.
But you gave them the steps.
You got to do the work in order to get there.
Yeah, yeah. So this is a little bit of that work we'll do together in that clarity session. And but yeah, but then I want them to feel confident, and feel like this is doable.
Yes.
Because how many people have you met where they're just like, I have so many ideas and I don't know what to do with it? And you know, I even went through this myself. I forced myself to come up with a new method for how to organize my stuff because I did a brain dump, 80 things that were sitting in my head.
Okay.
Can you imagine? I was sleeping so great at night.
I'm surprised it's not 80,000.
At that time, it was 80. I mean, my brain's like having 200 tabs open in a browser. So yeah, but 80 I was able to actually extract onto paper.
Right.
But I looked at the list and I was like, this all feels like a priority.
Right.
And so I developed a system for myself that worked for me to break it up but you know, that's a skill.
To work through the process.
So if someone could come in and help you do that, that's where I could come in and help you do that.
Absolutely.
And then, like I said, if depending on what those steps in that roadmap looks like, you might be able to do it yourself or you might need some help, and I'm here to help you.
Right.
And that's the cool thing is I'm not just giving you a strategy. I'm not just giving you a roadmap. I can actually come in and help you do it. And if I can't, I'm hoping to build a network big enough where I can pass you on to someone who I know that's trusted who can.
Absolutely.
So that you're not just kind of searching the internet, which can be daunting. How do you know you're hiring someone who's credible?
And just because it's on the internet doesn't necessarily make it true or accurate.
Right, yeah. So
there's some validation there, and how do you do that?
You know, hopefully, you know, trust is a big thing for me.
Yes.
I think building that rapport and trust with someone is big. And so if if we get to know each other well enough through however far we get, right, then hopefully they would feel comfortable taking a referral, if you will.
Absolutely.
To do something else, because I'm very good at saying what I do and don't do, because I'm not trying to get anyone into a pickle. So
you know your lane.
I do know my lane. I have a lot of lanes, but I know my boundaries.
I think I would phrase it, you have a lot of on-ramps that help you with your lane, because to a certain extent, if I look back at my career, and my daughter had asked me, like, what was your first 7 jobs? And I had to think about that, but it was like, ooh, really? Okay. And then now looking back, because I've retired, so I've had my corporate career, have done stuff. Yeah. It's really a crooked line, and yet when you look back, it only becomes straight when you look back.
Interesting. Yes. Yeah.
Because I tended to listen along the way to say, oh, that sounded good. Let me go that way. That sounded good. But again, within what I was capable for at the time, and still, going forward, but going from side to forward.
Yeah, it's true though. But it was all in a lane, if you will. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But so that's how that works. And you can get in touch with me online or email me directly. I'm trying to hit a lot of networking events, and I'm at Birchwood a lot. So.
Yes. If you like Birchwood, go to Birchwood, meet Lauren. You might see her there. Yep. Yep. I think the last time I saw you, I was talking with somebody else at the same time, and you walked in. It's like, hi.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I can confirm that. Yeah. So, Brightlight Business.
Yes.
A friendly approach.
Very friendly.
An analysis. Initial session. Fit, not fit. Take steps. Go forward. Maybe not. At this time, come back. But reach out. Yeah. And start the process.
Yeah. And just know I really want to help. I think I can... doesn't have to be huge.
No.
Anything that helps you feel like you can breathe easier, think
It's not
clearer.
A cookie-cutter approach. It's an approach that's personalized for whatever the set of circumstances you're bringing to the table.
Yeah. I have one client right now. They're leveraging me. We did a bigger project. You don't have to, but we sit down and I just help them get things done and bounce ideas off of. I'm kind of like a person to bounce ideas off of, and an accountability partner, because they're not getting the stuff done anyway. Right. So I'm happy to help any way I can, because I think it's important, and just business owners wearing a lot of hats.
Yes, they do.
And I can be a partner to help alleviate some of that burden.
Right. And then as you continue to build the community, to build your network, then you'll have more nodes in the network. And one of the lines I came up with along in my career is facilitate the network and then let the net work.
Interesting. Okay.
Because if you have, whether it's 100, 1,000, however many people, you generally know.
Yeah, I've never heard that one. Yeah.
It's unique to me, so you heard it here first.
Noted. Yeah, I guess for me, it's, and this is probably a cliche, you've probably heard this one, is like, I don't succeed if you don't succeed.
Oh, that's true.
Right?
And it's a win-win. It's a win-win.
Truly believe that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean... For the people listening, I don't know you, but I want you to win. I want you to succeed. Because that's how I get to thrive in a community like this. Because if you're not succeeding, all the business isn't succeeding, we don't have this rich community. Nope. I take that very seriously, and I understand. And it means a lot to me. So.
Oh, absolutely. No, I'm in the same way. We're doing this because if you don't succeed, nobody else will come back and say, I don't want to talk to Steve.
I don't know about that. You're pretty easy to talk to and fun. So.
Well, but
I have no more nerves. I mentioned nerves in the beginning. There's none left.
That's good. But, 3 months, 6 months, we'll see how much business you've improved because of this, and then I'll have succeeded.
Perfect.
Right. And then we'll get some more.
I like it.
The win-win, for sure.
Perfect.
Right. Definitely. Well, thank you for taking time.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Truly.
For the listeners, check out Lauren. Brightlight Business Co. The URL is very simple, or you can just Google. She's on LinkedIn. Yep. Those will be in the show notes. So if you want to check with the show notes, you can do that. If you want to just Google, you can find her before that. however, and then start the journey, or at least have an introductory conversation and figure out if the journey should be.
I will never say no to coffee.
Oh, that's
coffee chat.
Absolutely.
Easy.
Sure, for sure. Yeah. Well, thank you again for doing this, and listeners, thank you for listening. And we do this, of course, because Franklin matters. We are now producing this in collaboration with Franklin TV and Franklin Public Radio. This podcast is my public service effort for Franklin, but we can't do it alone. We can always use your help. How can you help? If you can use the information that you find here, please tell your friends and neighbors. If you don't like something here, please let me know. Through this feedback loop, we can continue to make improvements. And I thank you for listening. For additional information, please visit franklinmatters.org. If you have questions or comments, you can reach me directly at suresteve@gmail.com. The music for the intro and exit was provided by Michael Clark and the group East of Shirley. The piece is titled Ernesto Mañana, copyright Michael Clark and Tintype Tunes in 2008, and used with their permission. I hope you enjoy. By the way, you can also subscribe and listen to Franklin Matters Radio on your favorite podcast app. Search in podcasts for Franklin Matters.